Hi everybody, it's me Josie. I'm here today for it's going to be a stenciling tutorial, but I first wanted to show what I did with my drop paper. So I cut them down, and this is the way they came out. This is all the dimensional paint. I just used only that. I didn't use anything else. Okay, this one here isn't finished yet. On the inside they were blue. I used a blue Bristol board as a base for it. This is one that I finished yesterday. Well, it's not finished yet because I went back to Soto's video to see how you tie them up, and I'm having difficulty because of the grommets that aren't going in well, for number one. And number two, I don't have that elasticy kind of cord that she uses, so I'm gonna have to go out and buy that and get it ready. And I got these signatures ready that I still don't know what they are, you guys. I don't know why they're called signatures. And in this one here, to cover up the inside, it was also an idea as well to cover up the bad edges on the other side here. So I just rolled a little bit of the jelly prints around the edges where I thought it was, you know, some of the places were left without being covered up, so you would see a little bit of that blue, that light blue on the outside, but it's good to reinforce the edges as well. And in here I did a little pocket, and I just did these couple of little tags that you find on clothes with jelly prints. I did these the other day and I thought I'll just stick them in here for now. Yeah, so I have to buy that cord to close it up. But to see how you can close it up, go to Soto's channel, and she has various parts on how to do it, and she shows it very well. So yeah, but like I said, this tutorial is on stenciling. Now, I love stenciling. I have various pieces of furniture, 1, 2, 3, 4. Even in my sewing room I have a cabinet that's stenciled as well too. I can't bring my furniture under the camera, but I will show you one day. If you guys want to see them, I will show you the furniture that I have stenciled. Now, stencil is, you can stencil with all types of paint. My main use is acrylic paints. I use a lot of acrylic paints, and but you can pretty much stencil with, I think, almost anything. What I'm going to show you here on my jelly prints, I did these last night, just a couple of, we're going to show you one or two of them, is how to stencil with your gelatos. And then we'll pass on to how to stencil with your acrylic paints, which there is a nice way of stenciling even fabric, which is beautiful because you can make, you know, trims around the tablecloth. You can even make the trims of your sheets. You can do little what do you call those things, mats, you know, to put on your table with the stenciling, and they look adorable as well. And you mix in you know, various colors of fabric as well too. Like, I'm going to show you this right now. This is a towel that I made years ago, and I never got around to finishing it. And this was for my bathroom. I wanted a towel like this for my bathroom. Now, here in Italy, we use a lot of this type of linen fabric for, you know, it would be a good towel. It wouldn't be a towel that I would put in every day. It would be a towel that, you know, I would probably put in just decorative for, you know, when I have company over and things like that. It's still not finished. But imagine here a cute little stencil. Now this, actually, I'm not thinking of stenciling on top of this because I think it's already too heavy. But you imagine just putting on a piece of lace and then stenciling a little border over here. Then you can even add another little trim, you know, to close off that piece of stencil, and you have a beautiful thing. And really, I have stenciled pieces of fabric and washed and washed and washed over them. You don't have to go out and buy specific paints for fabric. If you have them, that's fine. I use a medium that I mix in with my paints, and every medium has its own direction, so you have to read the directions. And then you set it with the iron. Every medium has its own setting as well too. Sometimes they'll tell you after 24 hours set it with the iron. Some of them even say after 72 hours, set it with the iron, and you're free to wash it as much as you want. Now I have some of these ones here. This is an antique old sheet of my mother-in-law's that I started bordering around with the with a cotton thread, and I want to stencil these, and these will be, you know, to put on the table for placemats. And what was I getting at with this? And yeah, so this one here, because it's white, the ones that I have in my living room, I have washed them over and over again, and I even put a little bit of Javex in because one got stained with coffee, and the stencil continued to stay, will not go. Even this thread, because it's a good quality thread. This is a DMC thread, and DMC threads will not run in your washing machine. I even use products to whiten fabrics, and the thread stays its color. It will not change. So use a good quality of thread too. And if you have something in the house that you would like to try, make sure in a little jar with a tiny little bit of soap and warm water that the color does not run. If it runs, I'm sorry, do not use it, because you're just going to ruin your piece that you finished doing if you want to do it this way. It's a simple way just to border something around and fringe the edges. Okay, so we'll go on to stenciling first with gelatos, and then I will show you. It will probably be more than 1, 2, 3, even 3-part video, but there's lots to learn about stenciling. It's very versatile. You can do so much. You can even stencil, and I will prepare this for the next video. I'm going to paint a piece of board that is just one color, and I'm going to show you how I stencil that one color with clear varnish, and it gives you that damask look. I stenciled a whole wall in my bedroom, the wall where my bed is. The room was all painted green, and just that one wall I stenciled with a big huge stencil of roses and butterflies, and that I stenciled over just with clear varnish, a shiny varnish, and it just came out beautiful. They ask me if it's wallpaper that I got exactly the same as the walls, and I say no, I did that. So here it's something new. There, you guys have probably seen all of this, you know. I've seen walls that have been stenciled in this same way with just lines, and it looks beautiful. You know, you get a dark color like a burgundy or a nice pastel. You put the tape all along the walls. You know, it takes a lot of time to do it, but then you just go over it with a clear varnish, and you get that kind of like a wavy look of, you know, opaque and shiny, opaque and shiny. Beautiful, beautiful. And it doesn't cost a lot to do that, you know, to decorate a room, to decorate a wall. You know, you want a different kind of look, and just doing that one wall will make so much of a difference. So let's go on to the gelatos. This I have here for the acrylic paints. I don't need it right now, the paper towel. And as we're doing this, I'm going to talk about acrylic paints. You lose a lot of acrylic paint in your paper towel when you're using acrylic paints. When you're stenciling, it happens. You have to do it that way. If your brush isn't nice and dry, with still a little bit of color on it, you know, you're not going to get a good, clear, crisp stencil. So here we're going to, I had already started something. I'm going to show you really quickly. Let me see if I can find the same stencil that I was using. I think I misplaced it, but we can do another page with another stencil. That is not a problem. I'll just show you something very simple. And so, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you what you are going to need for this, for stenciling, the basic things that you need all the time for stenciling. Some kind of coverage underneath, tape down. It could be a piece of wax paper as well too. You're going to need masking tape to tape down your stencils, because you do not want your stencils to move. You're going to need the masking tape even to mask off a piece that you do not want to get into the stencil, because you're swirling your brush, so you know you don't want that that paint going all over the place. So I'm just going to use, let me get another stencil, another page here, this one here. Yeah, I was bored last night, so I started doing more jelly prints. Always on my own jelly plate. For those who follow me know that I'm waiting for my jelly plate to come in, my real one, because I've been having bad luck with my old one. And so the gelatos. Now I got one that has not glitter, shimmer. Yeah, it's shimmer one. So what I'm going to do with my gelato is put it on here. Actually, first I'm going to tape down my stencil. Now this stencil will probably be moved a lot, so I'm just going to tape off a basic area that I want to make sure that's going to stick when I do, so that way I can just pop it up like this and move it and stick it down again. If you want to make sure that your tape is not going to stick to a wall or your work and say, well, my paint is going to peel off, just put it on your top, line it up on your shirt, and just rip it off, you know, like to take off most of the stickiness, and you don't have that that worry about your tape when you do take it off, that it's going to rip off your paint as well too. So I'm just going to do a little area like this. So I put my gelato on this block. I'm going to wet this just a bit. Now I'm going to be using the brushes that I got with the gelatos. I will teach you how to wash these brushes too, so they last you. And you're going to take a little bit of the gelato, and I'm just going to rub off a little bit. I want to see how much water is on the, make sure that it's not going to be something that's running. And I'm just twirling it around here. Okay, now the acrylic paint is going to be another method. And I'm just going to start twirling it around. Okay, some pounce, which is fine. I'm used to doing this. Everybody has their own method of stenciling. I'm not saying the way I do it is right. Who taught me how to do this. And there you go. You got this beautiful stencil, nice and crisp. Naturally, like I said, when you're working with gelatos, to do the stencil, you do have to wet a bit, because you're not going to get a straight gelato to cream like that. I've seen videos where they put the gelato directly over here, but I don't like the way it gets into the edges, so I prefer mixing mine away from the page and using like this as a palette. You can use anything. Now, I'm not being careful here on how to hold my stencil, because I'm doing it on a jelly print, and you know, I don't care the way it's coming out here. I just want to do it, and that's it. So I'm just going to need to wet this a little bit, brush it off just a tiny bit, and continue. See how easy that is? When I'm doing the acrylic paints, I will show you a method on shading. And what you do need, what I use for shading a lot is black and white paint. Or if I want that color to be lighter, I'll mix in white. Or if I want that same color that I'm using to be darker, I'll mix it with black. Okay, so there you go. These are the gelatos. Now we're going to go on to acrylic paints. I can move my journals from here now. Yeah, I really like the way they did come out. At the end, you know, you got to try something out. You know, it could have been that I wasn't crazy about it when I did it, but at the end, I did like the way it did turn out. Something different. And because I do want to use up these colors that I have, those dimensional paints, I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to take these away for now. And we're going to go straight on. I want to show you how to do just a plain, on a plain piece of paper. So that way you guys can see better. A stencil. And this way I can show you too as well how I'm going to blend the colors in. So I'm not going to need this anymore. Well, actually, no, I'm going to leave this here for my acrylic paints. Why not? Another thing what you can do is while you're stenciling, you say you don't want that paint to dry on your brushes. The gelatos, there is really no problem. I leave mine dirty and I'll just go after and just wipe them off. But this is what you can do while you're still working. You want to make sure that there isn't going to be paint clumping up on the brushes. So, you know, you can just wipe them off of the tape on a paper towel beside you and set them aside. But when you are finished, you're going to have to go and wash them. So let's pick out a stencil here that I can show you what I mean about shading. I want to see, picking out the most simple one, maybe. Or we'll go straight to this first. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm getting this plain stencil of just bold flowers. And what I will be doing is sticking another stencil underneath, putting the bold flower on top. So that way I have a little bit of design in this flower, okay? Or should I do one first without? Yeah, I'll do one first without. So that way you guys can see what I'm going to be talking about with shading. Now, shading, when I say I use black and white to shade, that's only if it's a certain subject. Like I did a little can with brick wall on it. So this brick wall, in certain places, the bricks went a little bit darker. So I used like a type of, you know, a bricky color. And then where I wanted it to go darker, not in all spaces, I just added a tiny drop, like a real tiny drop of black, darkened the color a bit, and went on to the stencil. But that I will be showing you soon. So what color are we going to do this? I'm going to do this a simple stencil, show you how to shade with two similar colors, okay? And you start with the lighter color always first. I should put this a wipe off first. Make sure that that doesn't go on to the... And I'm going to get two brushes ready. You guys can see that, right? If I put it just in a tiny bit closer. Okay. Okay. So, get the brush. The sizes matter as well too. If you're doing a really small kind of intricate stencil, you're going to, you know, need smaller brushes. So this is, sometimes they're cheap brushes. This is what I'm loading up the brush with paint and rubbing it off on the paper napkin. Okay, and this is what we're going to get. I better do this with the tape. Nice feature, huh? Tell you to do something and then I don't do it myself. And you can tape everything you have, like if it's a piece, especially if it's a piece of fabric, you know, you should tape that down to the table too. Okay, so that way it doesn't move. And we start stenciling. You stencil off and bring it on. It would be just like when you're using Tim Holtz, his distress pads, you know, when you're rubbing in the ink, you start from the outside in. Now, I don't know why this is not coming out the way it should. I'm not liking it. You'll notice that the more you do, the more your brush is going to fill up with that paint too, and they're going to be coming out better. Okay, so now I want to dip it into the other color. And I'm going to start just at the edges here to blend in a second color. Now, if I wanted to, here I have two little dots. Can you see that? One's over here on the edge. And I will be putting that in the middle of the flower. I hope the next one comes out better. Okay, so I want to take this off. Put a center. Let's try it this way here. Okay, you can pretty much see through the stencil. Naturally, if they get too dirty, you're not going to be seeing that anymore. This one is not bad, but yeah, you do have to. I don't have a yellow. I'm without yellow paint. I ran out of yellow paint. I got to go out and buy some yellow, so I'm going to do it a green. So I'm getting another brush, a clean brush. Okay. So when you do stencil, yeah, you have to buy at least 3 or 4 brushes to start off with, because you know you're using all different colors. Now this one's not going to cover up right away, but we can go back over it again and let it. Now the drying time is very fast because you are rubbing off most of your paint on the napkin. Okay, now I want to try a more intricate one. So that was a flower. This is a very simple flower. And let's see if you guys are going to see that. Yeah, okay. But this time I want to stick a stencil underneath, another one. So let's see about this here. I'm going to have to tie them both down. Now remember, if you have put too much paint on your stencil, you know, you went overboard, and your place, you have to be careful. You see here, it was just touching this paper and it didn't dirty it because no paint has gotten on this side, on the underside of the stencil. So you got to be careful of that because you can ruin your work as you know, these are mistakes that I went through too. And I learned. I'm not crazy about that one. Okay. Stripes. Yeah, stripes. Okay, now this is where you have to make sure that everything is placed down properly. So get out your tape and start taping them down. My black sheet here is taped down to the table too, so that I don't risk on moving. There we go. I would like to try, I don't know how this orange got onto my, nope, don't know how it got there. How did it get there? Okay, and this is a very easy stencil to place after. It's not, so you guys are going to be seeing, I'll do this one here. So I got to take the tape off of that and put it down here. Now, for now we're going to be doing the design, then you're going to go back and you're going to be placing the stencil again. This one is not hard to replace again, where you have to be careful. How about, yeah, I'm going to do the lines dark, and then I'm going to go back when I take this stencil out and finish off the main flower. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. I think it's probably easier for you guys to do it this way. So we're going to try this out. Excuse me now, because it's been a long time since I've gotten a stenciling brush in my hands again. So have patience. I've done these flowers already with these patterns. And it's come out pretty cute. Okay. So we're gonna Now, you guys, I don't know if it's this paper or not, but this stencil is not coming out the way I want it to. This shouldn't be coming out like this. It should be coming out like, my brush is almost dry. But for the sake, I'm hoping on the fabric it'll show you exactly how a stencil should be. You shouldn't be seeing these lines. You shouldn't be, I'm wondering if it's the paper. I've done a few boxes as well too, stencil boxes. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get, actually first I'm going to darken the edges, and then I'm going to put that stencil underneath it. Globs of paint here. We need another brush. Like I said, it does matter the size of the brush you use as well too. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up, stick this under. Sorry if my head's getting in the way, you guys. Tape it down and put it back down, and it's aligning perfectly, so I'm going to tape it like that too. Get these out of the way and go back to the darker color that I was using. Always make sure that your stencils are laying flat. Then at the end you're going to go back if you want to put the center of the flower in. So I'm not touching this one yet, right? But I want to turn this one here. Doesn't matter where it goes. Line up your stencil again. And I think it moved a bit. Yeah, it did. Okay, let me put this one down first. The lines are going to go this way, like that. And I have to bring this over a bit. But like I said, it's not hard to line up your stencil again. There we go. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit of more darker turquoise here. Now you can even do this in other colors. You don't have to do, I'm using the same kind of tones, a darker and a lighter, but you can go completely different if you want. So like I said, you do waste paint. A lot of the paint goes into the napkin, but you can have something beside you that you would like to put in an art journal after too. And there you go. Okay, we'll put in a center of the flower. There we go. I don't mind that, but I'm just going to put in, you can overlap, all different types of flowers as well too. I'm going to get my green out again. Gotta buy yellow. And I'm going to go over the other one to show you that, you can keep on going over it as well too. I'm just going to hold this down. And there we go. Now I'm going to go over this one again. So, you don't like that. You say, no, I want it darker in the middle. You just keep on going over it until you're happy with it. And this can be shaded as well too. You get an orange. I'm going to use the same brush for the sake of not grabbing another one. And go around that. And there you have your shading. Okay, try this one again. And it dries very fast, very, very fast. The fabric ones probably not, because you know the fabric does absorb, and you're going to have, you know, problems there with I'm just going to go over it with orange because I want to cover that up as much as possible. There we go. Okay, now like I said, I'm not happy with the way it's turning out. It should be turning out much more delicately, much more. I'm not sure if it's the paper. It's probably because I haven't done stenciling in such a long time. I'm going to show you that up from close up. Okay, but I've been thinking about stenciling lately because of the fact that I do want to how do you say it? I do want to start doing some things for my boys, some more for kitchen. You know, these kitchen little what do you call them? The kitchen tea towels. You can buy tea towels already cut and everything, and you can stencil right over that. You buy a tea towel that's, you know, even gingham or polka dot, and you can stencil over that, and they just look adorable. There's so much you can do. Always remembering, with fabric you need a medium. So you know what you got, you know what I'm going to do right now, you guys. I'm going to close up this video because I'm noticing it's about 32 minutes, and I do not want to make it too long for the reason of loading it up. So we're going to stop here now. And I'm afraid my camera memory is going to get full. I'm going to make sure the battery's full when I start my next one. And until then, I hope you like this video. I hope you continue watching the other ones. The next one will be on fabric. And if I think of something else too, I'll pull it out and show you as well too. Okay? So have everybody a nice day and a happy crafting day. Goodbye.